I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have 20/20 vision. Heck, I don't even know what I'm going to eat for dinner tomorrow. But one thing I do know is that even without an off-season trade for Beal or Lillard, the 2022 Golden State Warriors are already a super team, and the rest of the NBA should be wary. Allow me to illustrate to you what I mean in both words and numbers. First off, the Warriors have a two-time MVP, the 2021 leading scorer, and the undisputed best shooter in the history of the NBA.
Steph, the pullback, the hesitation, the wing jumper.
I could go over all the records he broke and everything he did over the course of the 2020-2021 season, but that would take a whole video in and of itself. The man is just unstoppable. I mean, last season, once Curry crossed half court and was anywhere near the logo from 30 to 34 feet out, his accuracy was 46.9%.
Curry way downtown. Bang! Steph Curry from just inside.
During the month of April, the man averaged 37.3 points while shooting 51.8% from the field and 46.6% from the three-point line. In 2022, with the return of Klay, I predict Curry will average about 30 points per game again, but on more efficient shooting percentages, because defenses can't double-team him as much. Next off, Draymond Green has committed to improving his outside shooting over the 2021 offseason. Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Warriors, recently said about Draymond's shooting, "Draymond is shooting the hell out of the ball." I'm not kidding. Whether it's in drills, he's playing with a ton of confidence. I think the last couple of months were so good for him after what was a tough season last year. Back in the 2015-2016 season, Green shot 49% from the field and 39% from three-point land versus just 45% from the field and 27% from three-point land this past season. If Draymond can get back close to his best shooting form and shoot about 48% from the field and 36% from three, it's safe to say that he'll average about 11 points per game. After Dre is Klay. Klay Thompson is coming off an Achilles injury and hasn't seen any action on the court for what seems like an eternity. But there is some great news. Steve Kerr went on air to say, "When Klay started running about 3 weeks ago, it was like the light was suddenly at the end of the tunnel. I could just tell a big change in his optimism and in his feeling about being part of the group, preparing for next season. The last few weeks have been great. He's putting in so much work." In addition, Kevin Durant's bounce back from the same Achilles injury has been real inspiring for Klay. Usually, players are never the same after injuring their Achilles, but Durant, during the regular season, just had his most efficient year ever as he shot 54% from the field and 45% from three-point land. In addition, during the 2021 playoffs, Durant just averaged 34.3 points per game and 9.3 rebounds over a 12-game span. I can bet a whole case of Mountain Dew that Klay Thompson will have one of his best seasons ever, having shooting percentages of 50, 40, and 90, while averaging 22 points per game. Next off is James Wiseman, who will probably show huge improvements from his rookie year. Chris Bosh, the two-time NBA champion with the Miami Heat, recently went on air to say, "I truly believe in Wiseman. All he has to do is set screens for Steph and Klay and roll, and he'll be open all next season. They just have to really enjoy the situation that they're in right now." CB4 knows a thing or two about James Wiseman's situation. They're both about the same height, at around 7 feet, and are both lanky. In Bosch's first season in the league, just like Wiseman, he averaged 11.5 points per game, but by his second season, he was averaging nearly 17 points per game. Klay Thompson's father, Michael Thompson, also chimed in with his thoughts for the Warriors' 2022 championship quest. The key for the Warriors is James Wiseman. Can Wiseman elevate to the level of DeAndre Ayton? And he's very capable, because this young boy can play. He's got a lot of skills and a lot of talent. So if you can see him develop to become DeAndre Ayton, the Warriors are in business to contend for a title next year. How does Michael Thompson know James Wiseman can play ball? Well, just like Chris Bosh, Michael was practically a 7-footer and can see greatness in centers better than most. With James Wiseman's off-season development and the opportunity to go through a full training camp with the Warriors, I expect the big ticket to average 16 points per game and about 9 rebounds during the 2022 season. Next off, we have Mr. Consistent, aka Maple Jordan, aka Andrew Wiggins. Now, I watched every single Warriors game during the 2020-2021 season, and what I noticed about Andrew Wiggins was, towards the end of the season, He was finally starting to figure out his role with the Warriors and how to be effective. In his last 10 games, Wiggins averaged 23.1 points per game on 52% shooting from the floor, 40% from three-point land, and 80% at the free throw line, en route to helping the Warriors win 7 of their last 8 regular season games for the month of May. What changed about Wiggins was his mindset, which was to be aggressive, attack, and just dominate. Draymond, he told me to take over, so that's what I did. I tried to go in there and get everyone involved. I was in attack mode the whole time. Attack mode Wiggins is an all-star caliber player, and if Wiggins can maintain that level of aggression going into 2022, I can see him averaging 23 points per game, which is more than reasonable.
Shot clock at 7. Wiggins down the lane. Wiggins putting it down!
So now, let's take a tally of everyone here so far. Curry will average 30 points per game, Green will average 11, Klay will be at 22, Wiseman will be at 16, and Wiggins will be at 23. That is an average of 102 points per game from the starting 5 alone. But let's say I was off somewhere in my calculations, and we take 5 points off the 102 and give the Warriors just 97 points per game from its starters. Next off, let's move to the bench, and I'd like to start with Jordan Poole, a potential 6th Man of the Year type player. Last offseason, Coach Kerr had this to say about Poole. He's been our most consistent worker day in and day out. He's been at Chase working with our coaches. He's put the time and the effort in. He's really earned the right to play and to get his opportunity. What's even more impressive is looking at the improvements he made from year 1 to year 2. In JP's first year, he averaged about 9 points, while shooting 33% from the field, 28% from three-point land, and 80% at the free throw stripe. In JP's second year, he improved his points per game to 12, while improving his efficiency at 43% from the field, 35% from three-point land, and 88% at the free throw line. I predict that in Jordan Poole's third year, he's going to average 15 points per game, while shooting 46% from the field, 38% from three-point range, and 89% at the free throw line. This is going to make Poole a definite candidate for 6th Man of the Year, and for him to come off the Warriors bench to provide that kind of scoring while Curry's resting, that is going to be scary. Next off, coming off the bench will be JTA and Kevon Looney. Both of these players will improve over the offseason, but let's say they played just as good and efficiently as they did this past season. We can add another 6 points plus 4 points to the statistics. Now, if we add up the starting 5 plus the 3-man rotation coming off the bench, that gives us a grand total of 122 points per game, which would be the highest points per game for any given team over the past 3 decades. If that's not a super team, man, I don't know what is. Furthermore, I haven't even factored in the defense yet. The Warriors were a top 5 defensive team this past season in 2020-2021. But the thing about 2022 is that, first off, an all-NBA defender in Klay Thompson is going to be back on the roster. And next off, James Wiseman's development is going to include the defensive end as well, where he'll either block shots or at the very least affect them. I can see the Warriors being a top 3 defensive team this upcoming season, and either being the number 1 or number 2 offensive team behind Brooklyn. Just imagine a team that is 2nd in the league in scoring and 3rd in the league in defense. The only thing this Warriors team will have to be really careful about is health. Because if healthy, this 2022 Warriors team will win it all. I mean, in the West, they can outshoot every team to death. And then, when they go up against the Brooklyn Nets in the finals, they'll have a major defensive edge. And that'll be a key factor against the Nets' big 3. So are the Warriors a super team? The answer is yes. But one thing that constantly gets pushed in the media these days is a trade with a proven star like Bradley Beal. The only thing is, Andrew Wiggins would have to go, and that would definitely not be worth it. Well, if you're curious about that question, then I got just the video for you here, where I go over Wiggins versus Beal and the full comparison between the 2 players to see if it'll either be a plus or a minus for the Warriors. It's a huge video, guys, and I'm sure you'll love it. Click it, guys, watch it, and I'll see you on the other side.